Hi, this is Jessica, Blessed Vita. This is my baby Yaya, and this video is to offer you some tips and techniques for writing out drinking cravings and urges. So, especially if you have a planned AF day, an alcohol-free day, and you're looking forward to that and you don't want to ruin it, or you're on a streak of AF days, or you're taking a really distinct break from alcohol, cravings and urges are going to happen. It's just part of the territory of training yourself to be someone who uses alcohol less and less and less. And it is a practice and a discipline. So thinking of it like that is a way to be more gentle with yourself through it. It's a process. It's not something that you're going to get right away. It's okay to gradually get better and better at it. And as you practice this more and more, the intensities and the duration of urges and cravings will get shorter and shorter and easier. So just think of it like a practice. Practice makes us better. Nothing makes us perfect. There's no such thing. And it's a journey. You're on a journey. So the first thing is to notice, is this a craving? Is this an urge? Or am I just kind of casually thinking about drinking? And if you're casually thinking about drinking, not a big deal, right? That's totally normal. I often just think about alcohol sometimes too, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to go do something about it. And so the difference between a craving and an urge is a craving is still a psychological and emotional phenomenon that's like a wave that's going to have a distinct beginning. It's going to gradually increase in intensity. There's going to be a peak, and then it's going to fall off. And an urge has the same structure, but a difference with craving and an urge is like you're plotting and planning about how you're going to physically go do something about it, how you're going to act on the craving. So an urge incorporates an element of behavioral choices. Like, what am I going to do about it? Nothing? Or am I going to go drive to the store? Or am I going to open this bottle? That's the urge, is that moment. So if you can break it down like this, you can start to see what's happening. And it's just something that's happening through you. It's not something that you must do or that you must act on, because we have to have the belief that we always have a choice. We have a choice about who we're being and what we're choosing to do. Not necessarily a choice in our thoughts, but we can train ourselves to have different thoughts around alcohol. So by doing some of these practices, that will become easier for you over time. And so just to acknowledge also that cravings and urges are totally normal. They do get easier with time. Think of it like you're taking this on as a new sport, or learning to learn a new language, or learning to play a musical instrument. There is no mastery until you start at the beginning and you embrace being a beginner. Embrace beginnership. Start today. Start now. Start with the next time this occurs for you. So if that's today at 5 o'clock, you can say to yourself, I notice that I'm having a craving. It's coming. Kind of just prepare yourself for a wave to move through you, and that you don't necessarily have to do anything. Just to be aware, break it down into its components if possible. Oh, there's a trigger. Oh, that's starting a craving. That's starting a craving for me. Yep, I can feel that I really want to do this. Maybe there's an urge accompanying it. It will eventually crest, and it will always decline, because it's not a permanent state of, it's not a fixed state of intensity. We would all be dead if that were so. So if at all possible, just remove any stimulus that is calling to you, speaking to you. Put cork wine if it's open, put things away, remove them, put them in another room, dump them out. Even I've done that when I've had like this much wine in the bottle. I'm like, oh, I could just drink that, but I've already had an AF day up until that point. I'll sometimes pour it into the plants. I have done that and say, this is for my ancestors, or this is for those who have gone before me. This is in honor of me not proliferating this behavior that I'm willing and wanting to let go of. So acknowledge it, know that it's totally normal, and that you're not alone, and that you can definitely breathe your way through this and presence yourself through it. So acknowledge it for what it is. Know that you don't have to act on it, that you always have a choice. Hey. And when you think of it like this, you can think of it in terms of controlling yourself and creating a new identity for yourself, someone who can easily leave alcohol, someone who's not alcohol dependent. You're creating new behaviors and creating new beliefs rather than trying to control alcohol. Controlling alcohol, in my opinion, doesn't work. It sets up this fight response in us where we're like always on fight mode and putting up so much resistance and creating a lot of fear and anxiety around ourselves, when really the power is just within us the whole time. So you can start to think of it like that. You have every ability, you have everything that you need within yourself. It's just something to tap into. There's a wealth of resource within you, and that you're strong enough to do it, that you deserve to live your healthiest, best life. So just know that this is a temporary state. It's something that's going to move through, and you don't have to act on it. You just practice being with yourself. So most cravings and urges, scientifically speaking, from trigger beginning to fallout and ride through, is about 10, 15, 20 minutes. So when you notice the initiation is happening, I've done this as well. You can even set a timer for 20 minutes and just be with yourself and notice what you're going to choose to do in these 20 minutes. Don't sit there with the bottle in front of you and like play a battle of wills. You know, when at all possible, remove the stimulus. Take yourself physically out of the space if that's not possible for you. And then what you can do, and I do this all the time, maybe once a day, is to just put your hand on your heart, one hand on your heart, and one hand on your belly, and just close your eyes and breathe into your body. Take really deep breaths and just slow down. And I often, if I'm having a hard day and I feel like, oh, I would just have a drink right now, I go outside because I have a bunch of these and a really busy household, and sometimes you just need privacy with yourself, and you don't need people to come fix things for you. You don't need other people's concern. It's really just like you just need to check in with yourself and feel what you're feeling. And sometimes I just feel so overwhelmed and so stressed out, and I think that alcohol is going to fix that for me. But really, we all know that that's not true. That's a belief that a lot of us have that we need to really look at and let go of, because it's not helpful when we're at this point in our lives when we want to have a different lifestyle without drinking every day and drinking so much. So just put your hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, and you can take some really deep breaths. And sometimes I just let tears flow, or let myself cry, or like, or whatever kind of angry sound I need to make. Whatever's coming up for me that's trapped in my body, I don't want to push it back down with alcohol. I want it to come out. So try that experience for yourself. The next time that you are having a craving or an urge, set a timer, take some deep breaths, check in. What really needs to be felt and what needs to be released from the body. You could also use the HALT acronym. After you've done that, you could check in. The HALT acronym is hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. So you can ask yourself, is what I'm really feeling one of those things? And if it is, what is another way that I might go about remedying that and getting my needs met, my physical needs met? Am I hungry? Maybe I just need some protein, some water. Am I angry? How can I let this anger out in an unharmful, nonviolent way? Am I lonely? Do I need to go be with my pet? Do I need to get a hug? Do I need to call someone? Do I need to connect with people? Am I intentionally isolating myself? So just start to ask yourself these questions, get real with yourself. Or am I tired? Often I am just tired, and I think that alcohol is going to be my magic pill to give me the energy that I need to go from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. But sometimes maybe a green tea is better. Sometimes just laying flat on your back for 10 minutes is better. So do the HALT method, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, and see how else you might satisfy what's really going on for you. And then a third thing you can do, if your timer hasn't gone off already, and if it does, congratulations if it did, is you can take a sheet of paper and you can make 2 columns. I might make a separate video about just this. This is what's known in NLP as parts work. And it's the philosophy that we are not just one personality. We are not just ever one way. There are so many facets to us. And when we're wrestling with this question of have a drink or don't have a drink, we're kind of like two people talking. So there's a rational side of ourselves that wants to be our healthiest and best self. And then there's this other part that wants to talk us into doing things, that wants an instant gratification, that's more like a primal part of us. So what you can do is get a piece of paper, make 2 columns, and in the first column, you're going to write as many reasons as you can think of why you actually really don't want to drink right now. So maybe that's, I'm looking forward to getting up and working out in the morning, or I really want to go to bed by 10, or I have this thing for work tomorrow, or whatever it is, just as many reasons as you can. I actually don't want to get in the car and drive to the store right now. That sounds horrible. Why would I do that? Long list, as long as you can. And then on the second side, you're going to write down all the reasons why you do. Why do I want to drink right now? What do I think it's going to give me? Is it going to give me peace? Is it going to take my stress away? All the reasons why you're thinking about having a drink right now. So you have 2 columns, right? And then you're going to look at this objectively. And you're going to look at this paper like, these are beliefs that I actually have. I have all of these beliefs. And some of these beliefs will contradict one another. And that's because we are multiple personalities, right? We're multiple facets to ourselves, all trying to have our way. So who's going to win at the end of the day is the choice that you get to make. That's a decision that we all get to make many, 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 many times per day. So there's also a beauty to that, right? It's like you can start over at any time. You are never doomed or cursed to be a certain way. If you feel so low and sad, if you're in that state and that's who you're being, know that there's some other part of you that exists in you as well, that you can start acting as that person, start being that person more. So as you look at this list, notice that these are actually beliefs that you have. These are beliefs in you. So what you can do now is take a pen and look through each one and cross out the ones that are just not in alignment with you anymore. Maybe they're really old beliefs. They're ones that you're willing and wanting to let go of, unhelpful ones. Just start crossing out those ones that you're not going to hold that belief anymore. So it's easier to see these things when they're written out. And then take a look at your remaining beliefs on the page. And thinking of them, these 2 sets, as 2 different versions of yourself, now you get to make this choice. You get to ask yourself, who would I rather be right now? Who would I rather be acting as? And that will help you determine what your next action is going to be. So I'll make more of these videos. I'll make more of these videos and leave this guy with his dad upstairs. And I hope that was helpful to you. And I just know what this feels like so much. And so being someone who would just have to drink compulsively all the time, and I thought I was going to be that way forever, know that you will not either. If you're making these decisions incrementally, that you want a better lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle for yourself, you're on your way. You're on your way. So just be nice to yourself along the journey. And I'll be back soon.